Hey everyone, welcome back to Kids Church at Home. I was so excited to see the photos that some people sent in of what you got up to last Sunday. I saw people with long-haired Samson wigs, and I saw some people eating their lion snacks as well, which is pretty cool. Now, I wonder if you've still got your wig. You might like to have it this week as well, because Samson's long hair is a very important part of this story. Do you remember why he had long hair? The angel told Samson's mum that Samson could never cut his hair. And every time he looked at his long hair, Samson would remember that he had a special job from God. Do you remember what the special job was? That's right. Samson had to save Israel, God's people, from their enemies, the Philistines. And you know what? Samson grew up and he was super strong. But he was super silly as well. And instead of getting rid of his enemies, he ended up marrying one of them. That's pretty crazy. So you'd think a super strong guy would make a good rescuer. Samson's a bit disappointing. But I wonder if God can still use Samson as part of his rescue plan. I'm going to tell you a different story this week. It's a different kind of rescuer story, but it's also a little bit similar because it's a story about rescuers who are not very good at rescuing. In fact, the rescuers end up needing to be rescued themselves.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. The emergency siren was sounding at the rescue base. Rescue Captain Pete called for his rescue squad, Cassie, Cooper, and Chris. Rescue squad, someone is in trouble. A surfer got stuck on a rock and they are too far from land to swim back. Take the rescue boat and all the equipment and bring him home safely. The rescue squad jumped into the boat and in a moment they were speeding across the waves. But suddenly the boat's motor spluttered and stopped. Uh-oh. Fuel tank's empty. You were meant to refuel the boat this morning, Cassie yelled at Cooper. We're meant to be rescuing, but now we're going nowhere. Cassie sighed. Oh, I'll just have to swim to the rock and rescue him myself. Chris, pass me the flippers. Chris checked the bag. I think I forgot to pack the flippers in the equipment bag. What? Cried Cassie. You two are hopeless rescuers. Oh, I'll just have to do it without flippers. And with that, Cassie jumped over the side of the boat and into the water. Chris looked at Cooper. They felt a little bit silly. They weren't very good rescuers. They'd made big mistakes. But suddenly they heard a gurgling sound and shouting, Help! Help! It was Cassie. She'd forgotten that she couldn't swim. Cassie was being thrown about by the waves. Chris and Cooper were terrified. What should they do? Cooper ran to radio Captain Pete, but before he even picked up the receiver, they heard a loud humming noise. It was Captain Pete in the rescue helicopter. The huge searchlight beamed down into the waves. Captain Pete spotted Cassie in the water and hovered over the waves so Cassie could grab onto the rope. Then Captain flew the helicopter over to the rescue squad boat, and Cassie reached out to grab hold of them. First, Chris climbed up into the helicopter, and once he was safe, Cassie helped Cooper climb up to the top of the helicopter too. Then, Captain flew back to the rock where the marooned surfer was. Cassie grabbed onto the surfer and helped him climb into the helicopter as well. When they were all safely back at the rescue base, Captain Pete thanked them for helping to rescue the surfer. You're saying thank you to us? asked Cassie. But we all made big mistakes. And you ended up having to rescue the rescue squad too. You're the real rescuer, Captain Pete. Well, yeah, said Captain Pete. But even though you made mistakes, you could still be part of my rescue plan.
Have you ever heard of a rescue squad that needed rescuing themselves? I don't think those rescuers would have rescued the surfer at all if the captain hadn't come to help. The captain still used them as part of his rescue plan, but at the end of the story we know that the captain is the real rescuer, not the rescue squad. Samson is like one of those kinds of rescuers. Samson made lots of mistakes, over and over again. God still wanted to use Samson as part of his rescue plan, but at the end of the story, we find out that it is God who's the real rescuer, not Samson. Before we go, I want to show you something that I made this week. I used my cardboard loom, you've got one in your kids' church pack, to do some weaving with felt. A loom is something that has been used for many, many thousands of years. They were even using looms back in Samson's time. And there's even a loom in our story today. I hope you'll send me your photos of your loom when it's finished, and I hope you'll send me some photos of your temples made out of biscuits, and I hope I won't see any photos of people getting haircuts. See you next week, guys. Have a great time. Bye.